Good morning, everyone. Myself, Ashu Sharma. I welcome you all in series of SQLite. Today, our topic for discussion is SQLite Advantages and Disadvantages. So let's start with next slide. Here we have some important points that discuss about the advantages of SQLite. So SQLite is a very popular database, or sometimes we say it's a lightweight, and having that wonderful library and deployment is NSIC. So when we talk about that SQLite popularity, it has been successfully used with on disk file format for most of those desktop applications and some of that version control systems and financial analysis tools. You may say that media cataloging and editing suites, cat packages and record keeping programs, and many more. So there are a lot of advantages that we have once we use SQLite as an application file format. So the very first is lightweight. SQLite is very lightweighted database, so it is easy to use. It is an embedded software with some of the devices like televisions, mobile phones, cameras, home electronic devices. So it's a lightweighted and easy to use in that sense. Now the next is reduce cost and complexity. So it reduces application costs because content can be accessed, accessed and updated that using concise SQL queries instead of lengthy and error-prone procedural queries. So SQLite can be easily extended in future releases just by adding new tables and columns. It also preserves backwards compatibility. So this is also one major advantage that having this SQLite once we use for different embedded softwares. That it is also useful to optimize the cost. So definitely for that set of that you can say database size of 2 GB up to that mark, SQLite is a good option for that database that you can go with this. Now the next is the better performance. That reading and writing operations are very fast for SQLite database, and it is almost 35% faster than uh, that file system, and it only loads the data which is needed rather than reading the entire file and hold it in memory. So it only you can say it loads the data which is required rather than reading the entire file and then hold it in the memory. So this is why it puts that better performance in consideration. Next thing is if you added small parts, it only overwrite the parts of file which was changed. So editing option only overwrite the parts which is going to be changed rather than it reads whole file and then make some changes over there. So it is a good thing to do and to make that performance increment. Now the next is no installation needed, as I discussed in a previous video as well, that SQLite is very easy, and there is just you have to perform uh, just download the SQLite libraries in your computer and it is ready for creating the database. You don't need to install and configure it and just download the SQLite library and then you start with that SQLite that given prompt. So you start with creating the database. This is very easy to use. Now the next is the reliable. Reliable, you can say it updates your content continuously. So little or no work is lost in case of or failure or technical fault or any type of crashing. Next is that SQLite is less bugs prone rather than custom written files that IO ports. So that danger of having bugs is less, and SQLite queries are smaller than equivalent procedural code. So chances of bugs are minimal. So this is good characteristics and good advantage that reliability is there. Now the next point is very important, is portability. SQLite is portable across 32 bits and 64 bits operating systems and big and little and architecture. Multiple processes can be attached with same application file without any interfering with each other. So you can say it can read and can write without interfering with each other. Then multiple processes associate with that same application file. So this is also important for that portable nature, and it can be used with all the programming language without having that compatibility issues. So it is also important. Now the next is that accessible. SQLite database is accessible through a wide variety of third-party tools. So database, this is one of the database that content is more likely to be recoverable. It has been lost, data lives longer than code. So you can say, once talk about the accessibility, which is at the top priority nowadays for the client. So accessibility and reliability is very, very important for any customer, for organization. So when we talk about the services point of view, accessibility and reliability is one of key service that every customer demands from the company and from the service provider. So this is very, very important that even though something is not okay, it is going to be recoverable. You can say it's a recovery which takes very, very quickly. So definitely you can say data lives long. This is a major advantage, you can say. So these are some of the advantages. Now we will see some of the disadvantages. So SQLite, you can say SQLite does have some disadvantages. There are some SQL features omitted. So right join for each trigger, you can say drop columns, alter columns, and add constraints. So some of these features omitted. Next is SQLite does not support multiple client concurrency, users and user permissions outside of what is provided by the operating system. So when we talk about as a global impact, because it directly work on that disk on your system, it's having that limitation. SQLite does not prevent you from putting the wrong data type into a field. For example, that SQLite allows you to put strings into integer fields. With these pros and cons in mind, there are times when SQLite is good solution and other times when it is not. So this is that in consideration. Here are some of the rules of thumbs when not to use SQLite. If you are trying to use multiple clients all accessing the same data, this may potentially cause a data crash. Frequently, you can say frequent writes to the database are going to be slow. So concurrent writes to the database may also cause a database crash, and access over the network is not advised. It is extremely slow, and very large data sets will also cause SQLite to size up. SQLite has a maximum of 140 terabytes if you are looking to store a small amount of data. So these are some of the disadvantages. So I may say if you have that small application with that restricted size of database up to 2 GB, so you will go with the solution. And for larger data set, you may have that solution MySQL, you go with some that Oracle, DB2, Lotus Dominoes. So there are some options for large data sets. You can go with that MongoDB as well, NoSQL. So there are options in the market, but for the light-weighted concept, that light-weighted application where that data sets are not going to be so big, so you may have this option SQLite. So thank you very much being with me in this session. If you like this video, please subscribe my channel and press the bell icon so you may get notification when I upload new video. Thank you very much. Have a nice day.